Hello, Christopher Brent here, coming to you today with a discussion on the difference between jazz and classical music. So, one of the big differences, really, that comes to mind right away as far as jazz is concerned is the fact that you have to improvise and compose on the spot and arrange things on the spot. So, that's really a big thing with jazz. With classical music, you don't really have to do that. You're playing all the notes as the composer composed them and scored them out. So you don't really have to do a lot of improvising with classical music. That's really not required of you so much. So you're basically interpreting the work as the composer wrote it out, note for note, basically, when you're performing classical music. So jazz harmony is unique in a way where you have a lot of extensions on top of the chord, creating a lot of tension in the sound. And that is a really big thing because you have to be well versed in that when you play jazz. So in classical music, you do encounter that kind of harmony when you play Gershwin and 20th century music. You don't encounter that in the same way when you play Mozart and Haydn and Bach and others from the classical period and Baroque period and whatnot. So there is a difference as far as the harmony is concerned. Also, feel is another thing. So when you're playing jazz, you're doing a lot of swinging, and you're playing maybe Latin or bossa and all these different aspects of things from different parts of the world kind of mixed in together. It's pretty unique. That's what's so awesome about jazz, is basically the melting pot of styles and ideas coming together. So it's really, really cool in that way. So you have to be really well versed, not just in the different types of harmony that come your way when you play jazz, but the types of feel that are going to be involved in the music. So there are classical composers, if you want to call them classical in a sense, that fuse the two styles together. I mean, really, Gershwin is one that comes to mind right away, and there's others, but nowadays there's artists, even such as myself in a sense, where I do like to play jazz and I love to perform classical music. You kind of have to put yourself in the mindset stylistically of each situation that you're in, and that can be very taxing as a performer. So those are just some general ideas as far as the difference between the two. Basically, classical music spans, hundreds of years. Really, it's almost 1,000 years of time, really, when you look at it, maybe even more throughout history. So jazz is fairly new, if you want to look at it that way, maybe in the last 150 years. Mainly all these styles coming together in the United States from all over the world. It's really unique and special to American music. So it's very, very unique, and I love listening to jazz. I love watching jazz performers kind of do their thing, and the interaction and the communication. That's really another thing when you're playing jazz in a combo or a big band or even just accompanying a singer or something like that. You have to be really, really good at listening and trying to see or hear where they're going with the music. And you have to do that when you're playing classical music too, in maybe a chamber music situation, but it's very rehearsed. You often prepare the situation beforehand and go through it in rehearsal, and you don't want to do too many surprises in the classical format, where there are some surprises in the jazz element based on just the feel of the situation, right? So it's very improvisational, on the spot kind of thing when you're playing jazz, and that's what makes it unique in that way. So hopefully this helps you get just a general, basic understanding of the differences between jazz and classical music. There's also many other elements out there. World music. I might do a little bit of a discussion on world music and ethnomusicology and whatnot, because that's a really cool topic. So if you'd like to learn more, or if you have any questions, or if you have ideas, please email me at chrisbrentmusic@gmail.com. Check out my website at www.christopherbrent.com. Thank you so much.